And George, I think it's been reported that they have received more than 50 calls from that house. For what reason, I'm not quite sure, but police are quite familiar with that family. But 50 calls, and when you see kids with a gun in their hands like that, it's more than just putting the gun away. Say you would also have to educate your child first
Right.
just how deadly, just how dangerous that gun can be, instead of just saying, don't touch it, I'm locking it up, right?
Right. There's obviously something going on in that home. These children aren't, I wouldn't say are in a, they may not be in a loving home, whatever you want to call it, but as far as like, having children in the home with firearms, children, they're curious. Their curiosity can get the best of them. You got to teach them at a young age. You got to let them know, hey, this is not a toy. You may play video games and you may play with, I don't know, Nerf guns or whatever it may be, but these are not toys. Here's what they're capable of, and who knows, maybe that gun came from a friend's house or something. You never
Yeah,
know,
very possible.
and a lot of times I hear parents say, "Oh, well, my child will never be caught with the gun," but you send them over to their friend's house for the weekend. You don't know what's going on over there, and you want your child to be the one that says, "Hey, no, put that thing up. It's dangerous." And you
And
just
George, let's get back to that education aspect. Obviously, you guys do education and continuing education for those who already know how to operate a gun. But what do you think a good age is? Number one, if a parent owns a weapon and there's a gun in the house, whether you secure it or not, but if there's a gun in the house, what's a good age to teach your children the dangers about that gun? What's a good starting age?
I was shooting at, I think, 6 or 7 years old. I started off shooting a 22 rifle. And it was fun. I enjoyed it, right? I mean, what kid wouldn't enjoy that?
Mhm.
Uh, I remember being 6, 7 years old, shooting 22s, and then I went up to shotguns, and it was fun. We enjoyed it, but again, it was explained well to me. It was a completely put in my head that, hey, this is not a toy. You don't touch it just to have fun and just to show off and just to show your buddies when they come over or whatever it may be. At the end of the day, that will definitely fall on the parents, but definitely at least around the maybe 10-year-old, 8 to 10 year old range for sure. I mean, you can see these kids, I think were 7 and 8 years old in that video, and they have to know exactly what's going on. Like, I don't think they knew the consequences of what may happen, but they knew it was a gun. They knew it was dangerous the way they were handling it and whatnot. Um, and then I think they shot some type of projectile at them or at the ground in front of them. I was surprised they did that. I would imagine that those kids would might shoot back. You know,
That's a strong possibility.
I was completely surprised that officers did that, but I guess they were behind. I don't know. They were maybe on a rooftop somewhere where they couldn't be seen. I don't know what the whole situation.
Well, it was my understanding that they were trying to scare the kids into dropping the gun, but that simply didn't work. But obviously, just a strange and scary situation to see unfold before us in the news in New Mexico. I'm sure, I don't know what if there have been any criminal charges against the parents, but of course we'll continue to follow this. But obviously, your advice: educate your kid and lock up those damn weapons.
Right. I see a lot of customers come in and they say, "Oh, I'm going to teach my kid the gun safety." Now, I've always had guns, but it's time to teach my kids. I ask, "Well, how old is your kid?" "Oh, he's 15." Like, this kid is bigger than me. He's bigger than you. Should have done this years ago.
Yeah,
Uh,
you missed the boat on that one, but it's
yeah,
never too late.
exactly.
Never too late.
But yeah, no, definitely start them off young and just let them know that, hey, it's not a toy. It's capable of killing.
Absolutely. You've got to be careful with those kids and those guns there. Get the education that they need, as well as lock up those weapons, because you'll be left with a situation like what we saw there in New Mexico.